Well, g'day, and welcome back again to Zhaoqing. And today you find us in the Seven Star Lake tourist area, which we've just found a quiet little spot up here. We're sitting up on a hill, sort of near the eastern entrance, and we've got a wonderful little cave up here in the crag. So if we look, I don't know if we can see much from here, but if we look up the hill here, we have huge, big, well, mountain hill thing sticking up out of the ground. So, but we're going to ignore that for the time being. We're actually going to go for a little walk through there later on. But for now, I wanted to have a little talk to you about the Constitution of China. You often hear a lot of Americans talking about the Constitution, acting like they're the only country that's got one. Most countries have a constitution, and we're going to have a look through China's constitution and just see what it has to say here. So, it's the Constitution of the People's Republic of China. The contents, we have preamble, and then chapter 1 is general principles, chapter 2 is fundamental rights and obligations of citizens, chapter 3, state institutions, section 1, the National People's Congress, section 2, the President of the People's Republic of China, section 3, State Council, section 4, the Central Military Commission, section 5, Local People's Congress at all levels and local people's governments at all levels, section 6, autonomous organs of ethnic autonomous areas, section 7, commissions of supervision, section 8, people's courts and people's procuratorates, and chapter 4, chapter 4, the national flag, national anthem, national emblem, and the capital. So, we're going to go through the first couple of chapters, general principles and fundamental rights and obligations of citizens. We're going to go through that pretty comprehensively. The rest, we'll sort of skip over the most important bits. So, the preamble as follows. China is one of the countries with the longest histories in the world. The Chinese people of all ethnic groups jointly created its magnificent culture and have a proud revolutionary tradition. After 1840, feudal China gradually became a semi-colonial, semi-feudal country. The Chinese people, wave upon wave, waged heroic struggles for national independence and liberation, and for democracy and freedom. In the 20th century, momentous historical changes took place in China. The Revolution of 1911, led by Dr. Sun Yat-sen, abolished the feudal monarchy and gave birth to the Republic of China. However, the historic mission of the Chinese people to oppose imperialism and feudalism was not yet accomplished. In 1949, after engaging in protracted, arduous and torturous struggles, armed and in other forms, the Chinese people of all ethnic groups, led by the Communist Party of China with Chairman Mao Zedong as its leader, finally overthrew the rule of imperialism, feudalism and bureaucratic capitalism, won a great victory in the new democratic revolution, and founded the People's Republic of China. The Chinese people thus secured power and became masters of their own country. We might go a little bit more. We might do another video in the future into the actual the revolution and stuff. Have a little bit more of a deeper dive into that. But let's continue. After the founding of the People's Republic of China, our country gradually achieved the transition from a new democratic society to a socialist society. The socialist transformation of private ownership of the means of production has been completed, the system of exploitation of man by man abolished, and a socialist system established. The People's Democratic Dictatorship, led by the working class and based on an alliance of workers and peasants, which in essence is a dictatorship of the proletariat, has been consolidated and developed. The Chinese people and the Chinese People's Liberation Army have defeated the imperialist and hegemonist aggression. sabotage and armed provocations, safeguarded national independence and security, and economic development. An independent and relatively complete socialist industrial system has now basically been established, and agricultural output has markedly increased. Significant advances have been made in education, science, culture, and other fields, and education about socialist thought has made notable progress. The lives of the people have been considerably improved. I would have to agree with that 100%. Just having a look through here. Other parts, we're going to skip some of this. Okay, here we have another sort of relevant bit which will get some people upset. Taiwan is part of the sacred territory of the People's Republic of China. It is the sacred duty of all the Chinese people, including our fellow Chinese in Taiwan, to achieve the great reunification of the motherland. Which, yeah, I do hope they can find a way of getting back together, working together, and doing something for the benefit of all. So, Chapter 1, General Principles. Article 1. The People's Republic of China is a socialist state governed by a people's democratic dictatorship that is led by the working class and based on an alliance of workers and peasants. The socialist system is the fundamental system of the People's Republic of China. Leadership by the Communist Party of China is the defining feature of socialism with Chinese characteristics. It is prohibited for any organisation or individual to damage the socialist system. So yeah, pretty straightforward. Article 2. All power in the People's Republic of China belongs to the people. The organs through which the people exercise state power are the National People's Congress and the local People's Congresses at all levels. The people shall, in accordance with the provisions of law, manage state affairs, economic and cultural undertakings, and social affairs through various channels and in various ways. We will get more onto the National People's Congress and the local People's Congresses at all levels later on. Article 3. The state institutions of the People's Republic of China shall practice the principle of democratic centralism. The National People's Congress and the local People's Congress at all levels shall be created through democratic election and shall be responsible to the people and subject to their oversight. All administrative, supervisory and judicatory and procuratorial organs of the state shall be created by the People's Congresses and shall be responsible to them and subject to their oversight. The division of functions and powers between the central and local state institutions shall honour the principle of giving full play to the initiative and motivation of local authorities under the unified leadership of the central authorities. Article 4. Okay, this is an important one with some of the things that are being said in Western media and by certain politicians in the West. Article 4. All ethnic groups of the People's Republic of China are equal. The state shall protect the lawful rights and interests of all ethnic minorities and uphold and promote relations of equality, unity, mutual assistance and harmony among all ethnic groups. Discrimination against and oppression of any ethnic group are prohibited. Any act that undermines the unity of ethnic groups or creates divisions among them are prohibited. The state shall, in light of the characteristics and needs of all ethnic minorities, assist all ethnic minority areas in accelerating their economic and cultural development. All areas inhabited by ethnic minorities shall practice regional autonomy, establish autonomous organs, and exercise the power to self-govern. All ethnic autonomous areas are inseparable parts of the People's Republic of China. All ethnic groups shall have the freedom to use and develop their own spoken and written languages and to preserve or reform their own traditions and customs. So as opposed to a lot of what you hear, it's pretty well spelled out here. Ethnic groups, different ethnic groups, have a lot of rights. They are as equal as anybody else here in China. Article 5. The People's Republic of China shall practice law-based governance and build a socialist state under the rule of law. The state shall safeguard the unity and sanctity of the socialist legal system. No law, administrative regulation, or local regulation shall be in conflict with the Constitution. All state organs and armed forces, all political parties, it's not just one. There are, I believe, 9 official political parties in China. Must abide by the, political parties, social organisations, and all enterprises and public institutions must abide by the Constitution and the law. Accountability must be enforced for all acts that violate the Constitution or laws. No organisation or individual shall have any privilege beyond the Constitution or the law. So, yeah, from the bottom to the top, you have to follow the law. You know, there's no exceptions for people in authority or anything like that. Right, Article 6. The foundation of the socialist economic system of the People's Republic of China is a socialist public ownership of the means of production, that is, ownership by the whole people and collective ownership by the working people. The system of socialist public ownership has eradicated the system of exploitation by man by man, and practices the principle of from each according to his ability, to each according to his work. In the primary stage of socialism, the state shall uphold a fundamental economic system under which public ownership is the mainstay and diverse forms of ownership develop together, and shall uphold an income distribution system under which distribution according to work is the mainstay, while multiple forms of distribution exist alongside it. So, practices the principle of from each according to his ability and to each according to his work. So, yeah, you work hard, you earn more. It's pretty simple. Article 7. The state sector of the economy, that is the sector of the socialist economy under ownership by the whole people, shall be the leading force in the economy. The state shall ensure the consolidation and development of the state sector of the economy. So I know a lot of people are going to rally against that. But in a socialist system, you really need, if you want the benefits of your society going to the whole society, then yeah, it's got to be centralised. Okay, Article 8. Rural collective economic organisations shall practice a two-tiered system of both unified and separate operations with household contract management as its basis. Rural economic cooperatives, producer, supply and marketing, credit and consumer cooperatives are part of the socialist economy under collective ownership by the working people. Working people who belong to rural collective economic organisations shall have the right, within the scope prescribed by law, to farm cropland and hillsides allotted to them for their private use, engage in household sideline production and raise privately owned livestock. The various forms of cooperative economic activities in cities and towns, such as those in the handicraft, industrial, building, transport, commercial and service trades, shall all be part of the socialist economy under collective ownership by the working people. The state shall protect the lawful rights and interests of urban and rural collective economic organisations and shall encourage, guide and assist the growth of the economic sector of the economy. Okay, Article 9, this is one that I really like. Article 9. All mineral resources, waters, forests, mountains, grasslands, unreclaimed land, mudflaps and other natural resources are owned by the state, that is, by the whole people, except for the forests, mountains, grasslands, unreclaimed land and mudflaps that are owned by collectives as prescribed by law. The state shall ensure the rational use of natural resources and protect rare animals and plants. It is prohibited for any organisation or individual to seize or damage natural resources by any means. So mineral resources especially, I like this. They're not just leasing out land for companies to mine and make huge profits on. Yes, a company can come and be engaged to dig up the products and get paid a fair price for their work, but the actual product is owned by the state, and the benefits of selling that go to the entire country, not just to a small minority of people who run these huge mining corporations. I would love to see something like that implemented in more countries. Article 10. Land in cities is owned by the state. Land in rural and suburban areas is owned by collectives except for that which belongs to the state as prescribed by law. Housing sites and cropland and hillsides allotted for private use are also owned by collectives. The state may, in order to meet the demands of the public interest and in accordance with the provisions of law, expropriate or requisition land and furnish compensation. No organisation or individual shall unlawfully transfer land through seizure, sale and purchase or in any other form. Land use rights may be transferred in accordance with the provisions of law. All organisations and individuals using land must use it in an appropriate manner. Okay, Article 11. Non-public economic sectors that are within the scope prescribed by law, such as individually owned and private businesses, are an important component of the socialist market economy. The state shall protect the lawful rights and interests of non-public economic sectors, such as individually owned and private businesses. The state shall encourage, support and guide the development of non-public economic sectors and exercise oversight and regulation over non-public economic sectors in accordance with the law. Article 12. Socialist public property is sacred and inviolable. The state shall protect socialist public property. It is prohibited for any organisation or individual to seize or damage state or collective property by any means. Right, we're going to skip some of the descriptions as we go further through here. Just sort of hit on the important parts. Article 13. Citizens' lawful private property is inviolable. The state shall protect the rights of citizens who own and inherit private property in accordance with provisions of the law. It does go on. Okay, let's see what else we have here that is worth a look. Okay, I am going to link this in the description down below so you can have a look at what else we have here. But we're going to skip down. That's given you a pretty good sort of overview. We're going to skip down to Chapter 2. This is the fundamental rights and obligations of citizens, which is an interesting sort of thing. You hear a lot of people in the West talking about their rights. We have these rights and those rights, but you hear much, much less about their obligations, their responsibilities. So, Article 33. All persons holding the nationality of the People's Republic of China are citizens of the People's Republic of China. All citizens of the People's Republic of China are equal before the law. The state shall respect and protect human rights. Every citizen shall enjoy the rights prescribed by the Constitution and the law and must fulfill the obligations prescribed by the Constitution and the law. So yeah, pretty straightforward. If you're a citizen, you follow the law and the law will protect you. Article 34. All citizens of the People's Republic of China who have reached the age of 18 regardless of ethnicity, race, gender, occupation, family background, religious belief, level of education, property status, or length of residence, shall have the right to vote and stand for election. Persons deprived of political rights in accordance with law shall be an exception. So yes, 18 years old, you can vote, you can stand for election, which we'll get into what you can stand for election for further down. Article 35. Citizens of the People's Republic of China shall enjoy freedom of speech, the press, assembly, association, procession and demonstration. So, not quite what you hear. Article 35. Citizens of the People's Republic of China shall enjoy freedom of religious belief. Let's state that again for people who may not believe that. Citizens of the People's Republic of China shall enjoy freedom of religious belief. So, no state organ, social organisation or individual shall coerce citizens to believe in or not to believe in any religion, nor shall they discriminate against citizens who believe in or do not believe in any religion. The state shall protect normal religious activities. No one shall use religion to engage in activities that disrupt public order, impair the health of citizens, or interfere with the state's education system. Religious groups and religious affairs shall not be subject to control by foreign forces. So yes, freedom of religion is a thing here in China, although there are caveats. You're not allowed to push your religion onto other people. You're welcome to believe what you believe, you're welcome to practice your religious beliefs, but you can't go and go preaching in the street and stuff like that to people. Which I have no problem with. I actually can't stand that. I don't care what religion you want to be. You're welcome to it. You believe what you want to believe. Don't try and push that on me. I remember watching a video of a guy, I think I mentioned this a couple of videos ago, but a guy I think it was in Sydney, on a bus or on a train, trying to preach. He'd come from America, and yeah, he got loudly put down. I also had a guy here in China, actually. I was in the markets buying some meat for dinner one day, and a guy came up to me and he started pointing up. He didn't speak any English, he was just pointing up, and I'm going, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're saying. And then he started making the sign of the cross and pulled out his crucifix medallion on his chain. And I just straight away said, nah, go away. Not interested. Absolutely not interested in that. So yeah, he probably shouldn't have been doing that. He was probably breaking the law. Okay, Article 37. The personal freedom of citizens of the People's Republic of China shall not be violated. No citizen shall be arrested unless with the approval or by the decision of a people's I've got to learn how to say this word. Procuratorate by the decision of a people's court. An arrest must be made by a public security organ. Unlawful detention or the unlawful deprivation or restriction of a citizen's personal freedom by other means is prohibited. The unlawful search of citizen's person is prohibited. So that's an interesting one. So if we look in Australia, we have citizens' arrest rights. I'm not sure if they have that here. From reading what it says here, it appears not. But we would have to dig a little bit deeper to find out where they go. Okay, Article 39. We're going to skip a couple, go down the ones that we find more interesting. The homes of citizens of the People's Republic of China are inviolable. The unlawful search or unlawful intrusion into a citizen's home is prohibited. Article 40. Freedom and confidentiality of correspondence of citizens of the People's Republic of China shall be protected by law, except in cases necessary for national security or criminal investigation, when public security organs or procuratorial organs shall examine correspondence in accordance with procedures prescribed by law. No organisation or individual shall infringe on a citizen's freedom and confidentiality of correspondence for any reasons. So yeah, that's one thing you often hear about is sites not being allowed to be viewed in China. And the one I have heard, which was Jerry's Take on China, I think it came from. So Facebook is a very famous one that's banned here in China. A lot of people think it's because the Chinese government don't want, freedom of speech and all that, which by what some of the stuff we've just read is obviously false. The reason I have heard that they were banned was because of the terrorist activities that were happening in Xinjiang province back in the early 2000s. China approached Facebook and said, these people are organizing these terrorist attacks on your platform. We want access to their private messaging and stuff so that we can arrest these criminals. And Facebook said no. So they were banned from operating here in China. And I'm sure similar things happen with companies like Google. I know in Australia, the tax Google pay is very, 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 very low. And I have a suspicion that they're actually banned in China because they don't want to pay the same tax that everybody else who operates in China has to pay. So, yeah, it's not a freedom of information issue that resulted in them being banned. It was other issues. Okay. Article 41. Citizens of the People's Republic of China shall have the right to criticise and make suggestions regarding any state organ or state employee and have the right to file with relevant state organs complaints, charges or reports against any state organ or state employee for violations of the law or dereliction of duty. But they shall not fabricate or distort facts to make false accusations. The state organ concerned must ascertain the facts concerning the complaints, charges or reports made by citizens and take responsibility for their handling. No one shall suppress such complaints, charges or reports or take retaliatory action. Persons who have suffered losses resulting from infringements of their civil rights by any state organ or state employee shall have the right to receive compensation in accordance with the provisions of the law. Okay, so we're going to skip through to the next chapter, Chapter 3, State Institutions. Okay, I think we might actually leave this maybe for another video another time because my voice is starting to get a bit gravelly. So yeah, I am going to link this down below so you can have a read through, well, the two chapters that we've done so far. So general principles and where are we? The fundamental rights and obligations of citizens. There are more points here. But we're not going to go into that now. And we'll come back and we'll look at state institutions and all that sort of thing in another video in the future. But the main points to take out of this, I think, are things that are relevant to what we hear in the West, is the freedom of religion. Yes, you are allowed to believe what you want. You are not allowed to push your beliefs onto others, which I really like. I really find that good. Another thing I really love is the respect for religion, which I have mentioned this story before. But, okay, back in the story. For those of you who may know the TV show Survivor, or if you don't know, go and watch it. It's a great show. I love Survivor. But they did a season, I think it was season, oh goodness, season 15, I think, was here in China. And when the contestants got here, the first episode, the first thing they did was go into, I think it was a Buddhist temple. And they were going to have a ceremony. And it was explained to them. It was very well explained. This is nothing to do with, it's not a religious ceremony. It is a welcome to country sort of thing. It is welcoming you to the land and you saying thank you for allowing us to be on your land. There was no religion in it. It was just a ceremony welcoming these people. And one woman got up, walked out, she left. And they questioned her and her response was, "I will not kneel before any other God but Jesus." And this after she'd been told this is not a religious ceremony in any way, shape or form. And she refused to respect the local thing. Now, if I'd have been in charge of that show, I'd have put her on an airplane, sent her straight home. You can piss off, you're not welcome, we don't want you. She was allowed to stay, which I was rather disappointed in. I think she got voted out pretty early. Good on you guys, well done. But yeah, one thing I really like here is, for example, I went to a Tao ceremony in Yunfu, which if you go back in my videos, find that back a ways. And after the ceremony, everybody comes up, lights incense, kneels down, offers the incense up. Everybody does that. And my friends, Ange and Emily, were there with me. And they did this. And first thing I did was look at them and say, are you guys part of the Tao religion? And they said, no. And that really took me aback because it's just something everybody here does. It's if you go to a Tao temple, you respect their culture. If you go to a Buddhist temple, you go and respect their culture. You do the things and you just honor what they believe. Doesn't mean you have to believe it, just people take part in it. I've been to a lot of temples and seen people doing the incense thing, they light their incense and then do the bowing their head, I think 3 times generally. And I'd always sort of stood back and not done it because I always figured, okay, that's for people who believe that religion. And I'm now informed, no, it's not. Go and take part. It shows you respect. It doesn't mean you believe or you agree with what they believe, but you respect their beliefs, which I love. I think the other important thing here is the freedom of correspondence remaining private. It's not like the government can just come and read anything to do with your private correspondence. That doesn't happen unless you are suspected of a crime, in which case you lose your right to privacy, which again, I don't have a problem with. I find there's a lot of rules in the West that I don't really get. If you're guilty of a crime, as far as I'm concerned, you have no rights. You get locked away, put in prison, and when once you've served your time, you can have your rights back. But until then, I think there's a bit too much privacy in the West. If somebody is accused of doing a crime. Now, the difference with that is if you are posting things in a public forum, they probably will be monitored. I was actually talking to somebody yesterday. He was talking about a Chinese guy who's on Twitter and had commented on some posts and actually got approached by the police and said, be careful of what you're posting because you're skirting very, very close to the line. So he wasn't arrested or anything like that. He was gone, given a warning, shown the reasons why what he said was not really appropriate. And apparently this guy, yeah, fine, my bad, I made a mistake. I'll watch that in the future. So yeah, it's not like he was just dragged away and locked away for saying something wrong. So yeah, that's the start of the Constitution. Like I say, we'll follow up with another video in the future, looking at state institutions, because they are interesting. Again, they are not at all like what you think. Oh, the other important takeaway here in what we've done is, at the age of 18, being able to vote, being able to stand for election. Yes, everybody here can vote. It is a democratic system. It's just a different style of democracy. In China, they're not electing the leader, they are electing local representatives. The local representatives elect the next layer, and so on up. So I couldn't even try and imagine running an election in a country of 1.4 billion people. That'd be just unbelievable. But yes, people do vote, and their local organisations have a large say. They're very much in control of their local areas. So, but we'll get onto that further in future videos. So I hope you found that somewhat interesting, not too boring. We're actually going to go for a walk now. We're going to go for a little stroll around Seven Star Lake. It is Sunday. It is the last day here of the May Day celebrations. So I'm not sure how many people are going to be in there, but we're going to go and take a look around. We actually have another video showing you right the way around the lake. So we're not going to sort of make a big long one. We're just going to go and have a look at how many tourists are around. So hit that like button if you've enjoyed that. Subscribe to the channel to hear more about life here in China. Share with friends, anyone who you know who might be interested in this sort of stuff, learning more about a different culture, a different country. If you have any questions, comments, hit us up down the bottom there in the comment section, and we'll endeavour to answer them for you. If you have any ideas, anything you would like to learn, again, down in the comment section, hit us up. And yeah, if you come up with a good idea, we'll go away, we'll research, and we'll come back and make a video about it. So thanks for watching again, everybody. Take care, and we will see you all in the next one. Cheers.